something, guys, and I want to come clean right away because I think that what we're seeing here is the moon after further study. My problem was I got SDO and H1A mixed up, so I figured that this was coming from the other side of the sun. Fact is that the SDO satellite sits in a geosynchronous orbit beside the Earth. So this is the Earth-facing disk and the Earth-facing view of the sun. And what we see here is most likely the moon. However, what I wanted to say about this in my apology to y'all, and just wanted to give you this straight up explanation that this is a moon eclipse. There was a couple of odd things I wanted to point out about it that really struck me as strange. Okay, the first thing is that when we got up into the, first of all, in this intensitygram, we see almost what we thought was an atmosphere. This is another thing that kind of pulled me in the direction of a planet rather than the moon, because I kept seeing this strange almost atmosphere. Well, we know that the moon is developing an atmosphere. So the first thing I would say is, boom, Steve, you're wrong again. That's probably the moon. However, what was really interesting about this is I got a chance to think about this some more. Remember this? This was from the 100 or the 94 angstroms, and it basically looked transparent. This is another thing that really freaked me out. Well, when you think about X-rays, you guys, because that's what angstroms measure, and these are powerful angstroms coming at us, is this actually doing an X-ray of the moon? Because if it's doing an X-ray of the moon, it would appear that the moon has a square inside of it. Now that's weird. That's a strange thing. Why would this be a translucent appearance? Well, the explanation could be that it's being X-rayed, right? So the possibility of this being the moon and being X-rayed is interesting. But then when we start looking at these different images that we collected from this thing, and let me find one here that will really show it, which is at the 335 angstroms. What we see here is we actually start to see that same band, or let's call it an atmosphere. But I'm not thinking it's an atmosphere anymore, guys. I think that what we accidentally stumbled on, and I know this is just going from one conspiracy theory to another, but I think we stumbled on the fact that the moon, we just X-rayed the moon, and the moon might be hollow, or might have a huge square cavern in it or something. But apparently this is an X-ray. Like I said, we're basically X-raying the moon with the sun, and what's happening is we're getting a transparent thing. So it's just kind of an interesting thing. I wanted to show it to you. I wanted to admit to you guys that it's probably the moon. I'm still very suspicious yet. I'm not totally convinced of it yet, because the science went down right after they took these pictures at 11:28 UTC, which was the time that the eclipse was supposed to happen. So that's also aligned. But the weirdness of this object and the strangeness of what we're picking up in these X-ray images kind of tells me that we still need to keep an eye on this and kind of consider it. But again, guys, I'm sorry, I did not want to mislead anyone. It definitely